What's up, everybody? I've just recently finished another game. I played through Granblue Fantasy Relink. I really like my time with it. One of the things I noticed about this game, it has some great set pieces. I'm talking about you're fighting on an airship along other airships coming towards you and dragons in the sky, and you're shooting cannons and you're jumping from ship to ship. It's just some really cool stuff that you're doing. There's another scene I remember where you're running through this like volcano area, and there's this lava rising all around you, and this dragon type enemies flying, and you're chasing the dragon and trying not to get hit by the fire, and these flames are coming at you. It's just some really neat stuff. It's almost like an action game in some instances, even though it is an action RPG. You really don't see a lot of that. Sometimes. Something else I kind of liked about it is it's not too hard of a game unless you get into the in-game stuff and you want to get into the very hard and extreme and all those different levels. I'm just coming off Shadow of the Erdtree though, so Granblue Fantasy, it's a breath of fresh air for me. It's lighthearted. It has a great looking anime feel to it, completely different feel from Shadow of the Erdtree, which was also a beautiful game. But the darkness of that game was kind of getting me. So jumping into this, it was a great game to kind of wash off some of that darkness, I guess you could say. I know I'm not down on the game. I love Shadow of the Erdtree, but in my video where I talk about it kind of got me in a weird, almost depressed mood being in that dark world. This is the opposite of that. This is when it's lighthearted and fun and some goofiness, and it brings you up. On that note, as far as the game goes, this game is not super long as far as RPG goes. I think I beat it in about 14 hours. I got the true ending. There's like a different ending if you keep playing some of the in-game stuff. I think I got to it in around 19 hours. You got to do a lot of grinding for it that I didn't really care about, but I wanted to see it to the end because I did enjoy it enough to do that. I really like the characters in this game. I've never played a Granblue game, so I didn't know anything about it. The story, it's just okay. It really feels like a long side mission in a way bigger story. Like I said, I've never played any of the Granblue games, and the main objective, I believe, from those games, it's mentioned multiple times in this one, but you don't tackle it at all. Something happens at the beginning of this, and this becomes a whole nother thing. I did like it, but it really ain't the best as far as stories go, because it's really like you just jumped in the middle of an episode. Now, don't let that kind of scare you off, because you pick it up really quick. But it is a little bit weird in that. You also you unlock a whole host of characters from the Granblue roster, and it's kind of weird though. They'll comprise your party. You can put them in your party and you can fight with them, but they're not anywhere in the story missions. They never talk. It's only when you fight. I thought that was a little weird, but I know they're trying to get all this in because there's an online component where you can fight together. And I'm sure people that's played the phone games or the other games, they've got their favorite character and they wanted to get them in. There is a neat little feature, though, where you can learn about each of the individual characters. It's presented as missions, and each mission tells a little bit about their story. You're kind of watching it in a scene. It's just a picture, and you're reading it, and the character's talking. But after you watch each mission, and there's a bunch for each character. I can't remember. It's like 12 missions for each character. But after you watch one of these missions, and they don't take super long, it actually gives you experience, and sometimes it unlocks an accessory slot where you can equip different things. And then every now and then, it's a real mission. You're playing with just that character. They're usually really short. You're protecting some goods from goblins, or you're doing a quick boss fight to kind of move the story along. And they're kind of neat, and they help you learn more about the characters that are in the main story. I did kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie though, there's so many of them. It started to get old after a while. I wish they'd have made less of them. They wouldn't have been as many missions. That way you didn't have to do so much to get in them. But it was nice. You actually get experience just from watching them. That's for your main characters too. But if you're wanting to know anything about these other ones you're unlocking, you've got to watch those missions. As I've mentioned already, there is an in-game aspect to this and an online aspect. I'm not much into a lot of in-game stuff. I like to go through the story and kind of move on, because it's just you're doing the same thing over and over again. I barely made it to the true ending. You do some of that in-game stuff in it, and it's just the same stuff over and over. And I'm just not a fan. I don't like running the same missions or fighting the same boss, even if they are super hard, over and over and over again. That's like playing Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty, but I get burnt out real quick of doing the same thing over and over. And I got to take long breaks even from Call of Duty. I'm more about the story and getting to see new things and explore new things. But other than the in-game aspect of it, I really like my time with Granblue Fantasy, and I don't think you can go wrong with it. So if you're looking for like a lighthearted RPG, one that's not super long, I know 14 hours to some sounds long, but in RPG territories, it's not too long at all. If you're looking for something like that, you can't go wrong with Granblue Fantasy. I hope y'all check it out. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all have a great one.